Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game 120 versus Romantic. This game taking place here on Lost Temple LV, and this is not going to be forced cross spawns. 120 is spawning as the blue undead at the 12 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Romantic spawning as the yellow human here at the 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock position. This is going to be, well, sad for Romantic if he tries to militia clear out this gold mine creep camp and try and establish up an expo. He's going to find that his opponent is on the wrong side of him, and well, problems could arise if he doesn't know that this is possible close spawns. Pro Iron League map, and perhaps they didn't enforce it, or perhaps I'm just misremembering that. I thought a lot of the maps, like Lost Temple, or not Lost Temple, Turtle Rock, kind of didn't like those close spawns anymore due to rush and positional advantages that could greatly swing the game. Anyways, let's go ahead and break things down here. Crypt now done, Altar of Darkness. We're going to be looking at most likely a Death Knight. We'll see what comes up here. No, it is going to be a Dreadlord first. Alright, so once again, the Dreadlord first, going up against the Mountain King. Mountain King perhaps followed by a Blood Mage, and then finally a Paladin. Strength-based heroes, very important if you're trying to, well, absorb all of that focused hero nuking from that Death Coil, Frost Nova, Carrion Swarm that should be inbound. Now, the Mountain King is not as strong creeping early on, obviously, without the help of those Water Elementals. Water Elementals are, a two-pronged approach at clearing out those creep camps, able to dish out a decent amount of damage while absorbing a fair amount as well. We should be looking at the Mountain King hopping on out. Militia could be making their way off to the north. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 militia now making their way as the Mountain King also runs out to meet them. Acolyte doing a little bit of quick scouting here. Are we going to be looking at a Stormbolt go down on the Forest Troll Shadow Priest first, perhaps, to make sure that there isn't some easy healing? Are we going to go ahead going after the Forest Troll Berserkers, the two units that deal the most amount of damage, 28 to 37, while receiving the most amount of damage with that medium armor? Finishing off some units quickly, easily there. Mountain King, well, finishing off this last Ogre Warrior, and then we'll go after this Forest Troll Shadow Priest. Militia should have no problems finishing off that target there. Highly efficient clear, as we see Gloves of Haste picked up by Romantic. Meanwhile, excuse me, Dreadlord also clearing out and creeping and expoing as well. Gonna take this 12 o'clock location. Mountain King going straight for this Null Brute creep camp. And now we have, well, the Forest Troll Berserkers off to the north, which is most likely the primary target that you want to try and finish off. With that medium armor, the Footmen are able to slice and dice their way through it much faster. But the two armies may find themselves going up against each other here in just a second, as the Dreadlord, just simply gonna walk a bot. No, they're actually gonna engage against the Null Brutes here, so the Mountain King gonna have the opportunity to go after this Forest Troll Berserker, take them down, pick up a Ring of Protection +4, perhaps go after the Forest Troll Shadow Priest. Footman trying to do a little bit of scouting, trying to see what is happening here. There's a skeletal minion coming in from the north, and what is going down here? Unit's gonna try to retreat back. Mountain King gonna be in trouble, could easily get surrounded here because of a sleep. There's a Stormbolt onto a Ghoul. Is that gonna be enough room to squeeze on out? No, it is not. Trying to finish off another target. Another Ghoul could get taken down, and then a Scroll of Town Portal to exit instead. Mountain King down to 192 hit points, does not have any way to heal except for this Fountain of Health in the center portion of the map, and that in and of itself could be rather dangerous. All right, Mountain King perhaps wanting to pick up an item here. Boots of Speed needing to go behind the back of the Night Clerk, the Rock Golem, who does in fact stay awake. Meanwhile, this expo at that 9 o'clock spot, as I mentioned, going to be completely wide open, and now problems will arise. Mountain King also opted to go for a bash over Thunderclap, so this early stage fighting is just going to be bad news. There goes another peasant getting taken out in the back as the Dreadlord looking to get to level 3. Once that Dreadlord gets to level 3, you better believe Carrion Swarm at level 2 are going to eat away at the hit points there as both sides are trying to fight. Dreadlord, what's happening? Mountain King, are we going to see a Stormbolt? Yeah, Stormbolt straight up onto a low hit point ghoul. Mountain King could definitely be in trouble. There's level 3. Are we going to see a Thunderclap here or something else? There's a Thunderclap trying to slow things down. Mountain King still in this really tough spot, going to try and bash his way out of this spot here. Are we going to see another Thunderclap? There's a Stormbolt trying to break free as the Mountain King down to 42 hit points. Carrion Swarm, a little bit of damage. There is a sleep. Another ghoul getting taken down. Yes, you take down the Mountain King, but at what cost? Only a handful of ghouls are left. A lot of them taken out here. Dreadlord is now up to level 3 as well, as we're looking at damage getting racked up on both sides. Expo was, well, held on to 4 footmen, chasing away a low hit point Dreadlord and 2 ghouls. Coming back around, Mountain King resurrected. Gonna get back into this game here. No Arcane Vault that I see. No Blacksmith either. Also, oversaturation at this gold mine, as the Mountain King may try and, well, regenerate some hit points at this Fountain of Health mentioned earlier. All right, wow, the Mountain King actually being very, very aggressive here, but the footmen do have defend. That is the reason why they feel confident enough to do this, and going after the Null Wardens here, and now perhaps going to try and go after these Null Assassins as well. All right, all of these units going to get cleaned up here. The Null Overseers are going to be left behind, but, well, Mountain King cleaning up some easy experience. Low hit point footmen down to 41 hit points, going to try and re-separate themselves again as the Dreadlord clears off that Ogre Mauler creep camp. Mountain King going to perhaps get to level 4 here while regenerating some big hit points. Null Overseer taking down Footman does do a little bit of scouting, spots all of that here. Is that Dreadlord? Well, Skeletal Minion is going to retreat on back. Dreadlord heading back off to the north, not going to find, well, Romantic clearing out the center, the Fountain of Health. That is a very big deal there. Null Overseer going to get cleaned up. Level 4 now reached by that Mountain King, who now picks up a Health Stone. All right, it is going to be level 2 Stormbolt finding that Dreadlord there. Both sides trying to clear things up. It's a health stone, but does also have a greater mana potion. Are the creeps going to wake up in time? The creeps are going to, well, find... Oh, there's another Stormbolt there. Level 2 Stormbolt finding its target onto the Dreadlord. And, well, there's a sleep to try and, well, stall down that Mountain King. Mountain King currently surrounded, doesn't want to, well, engage here. Meanwhile, the Dreadlord separated from the rest of the group. Mountain King getting in a bash. Is he going to be able to finish off this last ghoul here? Should not be a problem. The Skeletal Minions trying to get in front, but that Mountain King, well, still unable to catch up here. Boots of Speed. Is it going to work? Another ghoul gets in the way. Are we just going to Stormbolt it instead? No, we are not. Dreadlord low on hit points, walking all the way back here. We're looking at a Nerubian Tower and now an upgrading Spirit Tower to try and slow down this this army now. We are looking at, well, Blacksmith. We should be looking at upgrading the tier 2. Still no Arcane Vault. And meanwhile, Mountain King picks up a, well, Staff of Teleportation. Gonna go ahead and inbound here. Acolytes could easily get cleaned up as Romantic going after some of these units. One Acolyte already down. A couple more Acolytes could get cleaned up here. Are we going to see some more damage? Mountain King, remember, has level 1 Thunderclap, level 2 Stormbolt. Going to go ahead and Stormbolt that Dreadlord there. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Is it going to be enough? Footman could throw up defense here as the Mountain King still, well, trying to chase after that Dreadlord now. Dreadlord down to 194 hit points. Mountain King is going to get slept as the units are going to be forced to retreat back. Mountain King trying to hold back this onslaught here. Are we going to see some damage? Yes, a bunch of ghouls are going to finish off perhaps a footman or two, as well as the Mountain King has no way to defend against these gargoyles. Workshops getting, well, starting to crank out units. We are already going to castle straight up. A Blood Mage now getting trained as the Mountain King going to head off to the center and, well, finish off the remaining poachers and heal up as well. Footmen could easily get some defense in. Footmen are going to easily heal in the center portion of the map. And remember, well, every time the Mountain King kind of well, visits this Fountain of Health and is able to heal up units, he's saving 100 gold as he's not spending it on a Scroll of Regeneration. Arcane Tower, well, trying to well, hold off a swarm of gargoyles. This is going to be a difficult spot. A guard tower also going to get poked down down quickly. Are we going to see a cancellation? No, we do not. Mountain King shows up. There's a Death Coil for a save right there, as the Mountain King sits at level 4, doesn't have that much mana. Are we going to see a little bit more damage? There goes another Footman. There's a Death Coil for the save. Mountain King doesn't really have that many opportunities to try and save this Dreadlord with the Death Knight nearby. Mana now getting drained away from the Dreadlord. Dreadlord not going to be able to sleep, as we see the Mountain King with 123 mana. Are we going to be looking at more Storm Bolts or anything like that? There's another Storm Bolt going down as the Mountain King gets reloaded for more bullets. All right, Mountain King wants to chase after these units here. Meanwhile, Gargoyles are having an absolute field day in the lumbering fields here as another Ghoul gets finished off. All right, more bashing, more killing units are getting cleaned up here. Meanwhile, Blood Mage trying to finish off some of those units as the Mountain King could perhaps catch up to a unit or two, finish off a Ghoul. That Ghoul down to 32 hit points. 1 or 2 more shots should do it. Is the Mountain King going to catch up to one last Ghoul? And it looks like he can. There's the Stormbolt on the Ghoul. 5-second stun. 2 hits and now down. All right, Blood Mage, perhaps going to try and pick up some items here. Both sides still running up on 2 bases. We are looking at flying machines getting added once more. There's that triple flying machine, or triple workshop that I've talked about in my previous video. The only time you really see 3 of the same production building. Maybe you'll see the same thing for Crypt occasionally, as the Gargoyle now heads back off to the north. Yeah. Classic Lost Temple, crazy shenanigans, and the fact that Romantic was counterclockwise to 120 originally made me think that that Expo would not be able to hold. Romantic doing a great job defending that Expo, and even though he did lose his Mountain King, he was also able to put in pressure on that Dreadlord. Both sides fighting their way through a couple of, well, units getting cleaned up here. Flying Machine's going to go ahead and look for those Gargoyles, and if those Gargoyles are not careful, they're going to easily get destroyed and shredded by the Flying Machines. It's just the numbers right now. There goes one Gargoyle already. Going to perhaps turn around, try and go after another. The Gargoyles do have a fast movement speed, able to close in on that distance. All right, Blood Mage needs to get a little bit more mana. Flying Machines want to get a little bit of flanking. Here we are, here we go. Are we going to see some damage onto that obsidian statue? No bash there. Orb of Fire is on that Mountain King as well to disrupt any sort of healing. But, well, not real healing on no real chance of burst healing on an obsidian statue. Mountain King could come back around. Flying Machines going up against these other units. Mountain King does have, does have a Stormbolt. There's a quick Siphon Mana and also, Siphon Mana and Stormbolt to not get a sleep down. Meanwhile, Lich shows up, and now Undead going to be pushing back the other way. Quick Staff of Sanctuary for the save there, as the Flying Machines, well, could try and engage against all of these Gargoyles here. Mountain King could be in a little bit of trouble. Does have a Scroll of Town Portal to get out, and quickly says, you know what, I want no part of that fight. Just get me out of here. Knights also being trained, 61 supply compared to 65. This is, well, this is going to be a battle of positioning with similar sizes and micro execution from those heroes. Paladin are also out on the battlefield. Only one Staff of Sanctuary. Flying Machines going to town on those Gargoyles. Are we going to see some more damage go against those units? Yes, there goes another Gargoyle there, as we're looking at those Gargoyles just pretty quickly getting cleaned up there. Gargoyles just constantly falling, turning around. Another burst of attack there. Going to come back around as we see a quick Stormbolt go down, finding another Gargoyle again. We do see, we have the Skeletal Archers from the Book of the Dead. Skeletal Minions still coming back across here as the Blood Mage wants to siphon some mana. There's a quick Stormbolt, and now the Dreadlord losing some precious mana again. Flying Machines looking to engage. There's a Carrion Swarm as the Gargoyles and Flying Machines are quickly exchanging blows. Gargoyles are going to be losing this fight just because of the sheer numbers. And, well, there's now 59 supply compared to 43. Not quite sure what all the flashing and blinking is about. My apologies. Mountain King now sitting at level 5, has level 3 Stormbolt. Could try and clear up the remainder of this Ogre Magi creep camp. Staff of Sanctuary teleporting units back home. 1 minute cooldown, though, as that Mountain King, well, just pretty much holding position. Where is the Paladin? Where are these units? How come they are not trying to clean up anything here? Siphon Mana could be ready. There's a, well, sleep on to the Blood Mage. Blood Mage should be waking back up here. Mountain King could, well, perhaps try and Stormbolt another unit again and, well, finish him off. Mountain King just slowly and surely taking down each individual unit. as the Knights, still without animal war training and not yet being researched, well, could have some bad times. 885 hit points coming through. Knights 05 upgrades. Mountain King gonna come back across here. How is all of this going to be unfolding? The Knights want to charge on in, finish off those units, but the Death Knight, even with only level 1 Unholy Aura, able to outmaneuver all of these units here. Mountain King looking to pick off a unit, doesn't see any easy units, going to try and find the Stormbolt, finds it on the Lich, and now going to try and engage here. Flying Machines are looking to get the bomb upgrade, and they do in fact have it. Griffins are now out here on the battlefield, as we're going to see, well, that Griffin perhaps be able to catch up and take down this Obsidian statue. One more hammer from the Griffin is going to be enough to do it. 41 to 66 damage. There's a sleep on to the Griffin Rider, though. A great stop by the Dreadlord, making sure as, well, that Obsidian statue could have a very bad day trying to turn the corners, and it looks like it will be able to retreat back out. Now, Dreadlord has become more and more popular, especially against the flying machine strategies of human. The meta has called for, well, a shift. That carry-on swarm is powerful, but only if it's high enough in level. Well, henceforth, getting that Dreadlord early to gain access to level 3 carry-on swarm as quickly as possible. Alright, Paladin, Blood Mage working together here. Meanwhile, Mountain King hanging off to the side. Could staff a Sanctuary more flying machines if he needs to. Meanwhile, Dreadlord, Death Knight, Lich ready to put pressure onto this Expo. Ghoul quickly runs on in, trying to get some damage on all of these peasants. Are we going to see a carry-on swarm or anything like that? Ghoul trying to retreat back out. Meanwhile, Griffins and Militia, where are they going? They're going into an awfully different location. Perhaps going to try and get to this side here and establish up a base. Meanwhile, quick Banshee going to get healed up here. Siphon mana, that is a lot of damage, as we see that the flying machines also have that bombardment. Very important to get that bombardment. Once all of the air units are gone, you want them to have a reason to still be in that fight, even if it's only 8 to 10 siege damage. It still starts to, well, pick off these lower hit point Banshees who are unarmored. That siege damage does deal bonus damage to those unarmored units, as the Knights are now going after some of these Crypt Fiends and finding those targets quickly. 56 supply compared to 77. Romantic in an absolute dominating control of this game here. The Lich is still only sitting at level 1. It's Frost Nova, not yet that threatening. Sleep going down onto the Paladin again. So many hit points, or so many units by the human army, and well, only the Dreadlord is able to use spells against them. Siege Engine just going to walk on through, as we're looking at the Paladin, the Blood Mage getting cleaned up. No Paladin heal there, as the Paladin was at level 3. All right, both sides still fighting. Paladin does have a health shield or a health stone, and now going to quickly use Divine Shield in order to stick around in this fight a little while longer. 58 supply compared to 67. Romantic has a lot more gold in the bank and should be spending it to try and replace the units that are being lost, as we're looking at more, well, Crypt Fiends getting cleaned up again and again. Banshee now back out here onto the battlefield. The Flying Machine is going to be forced to back away. There's a quick sleep right there. There's a Staff of Sanctuary for the save. Dreadlord still has enough for another sleep there. Are we going to be looking at that Mountain King? Will he be able to save that friend there? Trying to go after the Crypt Fiend. There's a Holy Light burst, and now trying to go up against the corner. Paladin going to be in some big trouble. He's going to get finished off. Another Crypt Fiend going to get lost in the exchange and the blow, but both the Blood Mage and the Paladin are now out for the count, at least until they get resurrected. Obsidian statue getting taken out as well. Flying machines getting taken down by those Banshees, who do have an anti-air attack, and, well, by dealing magical damage, deal bonus damage to those units. All right. Siege Engine looking to retreat back here. Perhaps bombarding from those flying machines will be enough. Meanwhile, Paladin out here on the battlefield. These peasants need to get back to work. Perhaps a staff or another Staff of Sanctuary could be useful. Scroll of Town Portal, Boots of Quel'Thalas, I believe were sold. There is still curses on those Knights who do have that animal war training now. 75 supply compared to 64. And the Banshees, well, anti-magic shell just being constantly powerful and useful, reducing the effectiveness of that Mountain King. All right, Staff of Sanctuary, now 2 copies for the Paladin and that Mountain King here. Blood Mage Resurrection should be nearing completion. Meanwhile, Dreadlord going to get to level 5 now. And with that, the Carrion Swarm is just going to be that much more powerful. Banshee quickly shows up to the party and says, wait a second, what am I doing here? There's no part for me there at all. Meanwhile, Scroll of Town Portal heading back home, trying to save this Nerubian Tower. Is it going to be enough? The Nerubian Tower was trying to attack both siege engines to apply the slow debuff as the flying machines now fly on over there. All right, low hit point Peasant. Mountain King going to go ahead and engage. Mountain King not going to be able to get to level 6. Blood Mage now making its way across as well. Force Troll Berserkers, Guard Tower now getting added in once more. Paladin should be able to come across easily, give it a nice holy light as that Rock Golem will get taken out. All right, incoming Undead Army. We are looking also a squadron of flying machines hiding off to the side there. 77 supply compared to 70. Mountain King getting a bit more mana, going to finish things off here. Paladin and Blood Mage going to sit at level 3. Mountain King nearly up to 1,100 hit points already. Siege engines rolling on through. Gonna, well, perhaps try and take down this haunted gold mine. There's only about, what, 5.5 minutes of well, mining left here. Flying Machine's now going to come across and say, you know what, let's just bombard the place, and, well, maybe we can stop you economically, and then suddenly you are not going to be able to rebuild these units quickly at all. All right. This one siege engine already down, or one siege engine already surrounded, but the guard, or the Nerubian towers, and also that haunted gold mine are getting cleaned up rather quickly as well. Spirit towers, massive repairs underway. Some of the ghouls not even joining in on the battle as we're looking at massive repairs here, trying to save this spirit tower. All right, still not going to be enough siege engine now rolling on in, trying to go after this Nerubian tower here. Acolytes are coming back over. We can see that there are multiple expos coming together as the undead army going to be rolling on in to try and stop this 6 o'clock spot before it gets going. Quickly cancels all of those buildings there as the fly machines are going after the Nerubian tower to try and take it down. Massive number of acolytes with the repairs to keep it alive, at least for now. Siege engines from the south rolling on off to the north here. Gold still being slowly mined away. No haunted gold mine for the undead at all. So what you see is what you get in terms of your army size. Mountain King still leading the charge, trying to clear out all of these creep camps. Can't gain any additional experience. So this is going to be a little bit of a setback for the Paladin and the Blood Mage, who want to, well, to level up, and that Mountain King is taking some of that precious experience away. Rock Golem going to get taken down. And now, well, Paladin continuing to, actually just shy of level 3 by 1 hit point. We're looking at a potential engagement here. Forest Troll Berserker going to get cleaned up. Meanwhile, siege engines are rolling off into the center, trying to take down that center Black Citadel. What? Yes. Coming back around, Mountain King, a Paladin, a Blood Mage, Knights, getting ready to engage. Bottom left-hand side Expo getting established as well. Still no mining by 120. He needs to unsummon a couple of buildings, and there's a lot of ghouls out there on the battlefield. 72 supply compared to 60. The army size of the undead actually slightly larger, oddly enough, as the Paladin does get to level 4 and the Blood Mage still shy of level 4. Where siege engines, another one going to get taken down, and this is a problem now. The siege engines, well, at some point in time, they're going to give experience slowly to the Dreadlords and these units here, and by giving experience, you do not want to see an Infernal come down, as the Infernal deals full damage to that fortified siege engine. Coming back around here, siege engines trying to roll on off to the north. What is going on? Knights in snares, Blood Mage not even bothering to go after any of these units, and, well, that could potentially be a problem as we're in a base race scenario now. 25 minutes into this game, this Expo on the bottom left-hand side of the map, Arcane Tower draining mana out of that Lich, perhaps should start draining mana out of that Death Knight, as well as, well, the mining has stopped. Siege Engines trying to find their place here. And for some reason, Romantic Siege Engines, one of them asleep at the wheel, not engaging at all. These two now making their way down as the Mountain King does get to level 6. We do have Avatar here to try and clean up all of these units as this gold mine finally taken out. Siege Engines making their way through, going to go after all of these buildings. And in a base race scenario, well, the player with more buildings generally wins out. There goes another building again as the 9 o'clock expo finally cleaned up, but Romantic has established this corner expo here. A good job by Romantic establishing that corner expo and purposely not going to this shop. I believe he left the creeps at that shop to make it look like he didn't explore that corner of the map. And there's going to be a little bit of a surprise for 120 when the Acolyte does finally spot all of this here. All right, buildings getting absolutely decimated, destroyed. Siege Engine still rolling on in, going after these buildings now. Mountain King continuing the fight as building after building slowly going to get taken out. Mountain King does have a Scroll of Town portal, but that is going to be the game. 120 knows the writings on the wall and will be giving it up. All right, strong game by Romantic, but I think the ultimate head fake maneuver there was establishing that bottom left-hand side expo without clearing out the creeps at the merchant shop. Undead scouted that location, saw the creeps, took out the rock golem, the forest troll berserkers, and then didn't dive further, thinking that, you know what, there's no way that Romantic has cleared out that expo when, well, the Mountain King and army were just right there. Let me